Hey guys, Kingpin Light here, and we got Skull 2 The Final Push documentary episode 2. It's been a long time coming. I know it's been out for a little bit now, but I was looking forward to it after looking at the other documentaries. And as you guys know, I've taken a bit of a break, but I am back and I'm going to go ahead and react to this. We'll jump right in. I got HD and closed captioning on, so we'll see what we find out from this one. Got the Hanuman, of course. What is that classic song playing in the background? I feel like I've heard it somewhere. I don't know. I'm not going to make guesses, but it sounds a little familiar from something that you guys have shown me or something I've reacted to. I feel like maybe it was in the background. Maybe of that trailer of the movie of like the lost Cambodian rock and roll. I don't know if it was from that video or not, but that's my guess. I feel like I've heard that melody. Western breakfast. Western breakfast. I'm assuming it's like eggs and bacon and what else? What do we have for breakfast? Toast. What do you guys? What does Cambodia have for breakfast? I didn't even think about it. But of course, every culture is gonna have their own breakfast meals or whatever. So I'm curious. Khmer noodles. I know they said that. So maybe that's what he was referring to as the breakfast. I'll try not to pause too much with this being a pretty long video. I like how it says Malibu on that door. So this is that resort they were staying at, right? Or I can't remember what it looks like now. I may have to go back and reference the old video, but was this that sort of like temple-ish resort that they were staying at before? They're like continuing it from there. Yeah, because it's almost like that infinity pool I had mentioned, right?
អារម្មណ៍នេះមិនខានជួបយូរហើយព្រោះនៅទីក្រុងគឺសិតតែអាគារខ្ពស់ៗប៉ុន្តែកន្លែងនេះគឺផ្លាស់ប្ដូរអារម្មណ៍ផ្លាស់ប្ដូរ mood នៅក្នុងការធ្វើការគឺខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍ថាវាជារសជាតិថ្មីមួយយ៉ាងសម្រាប់ជីវិតខ្ញុំ
Well, a funny story about that. I've said this in a couple of videos, but I've spent some time out in some Caribbean islands, and in it had a real like tropical feel, right? It's beaches, all that, monkeys all around the island. And I will give it that. It definitely sets the mood differently. Like you think a little bit differently. It's more nature. Because I come from like cities, right, or towns or whatever. Just basically buildings everywhere, right? But being around all that nature does sort of like change how you think. I guess it's kind of weird. Like you feel more at ease too. And I would imagine that that would lead to an easier time creating specifically, right? Because you're left to more of your thoughts and less of that busyness going on around you, all of these sights and sounds or whatever. More introspective, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Surin instrument beat. What's that? So it said Vantan's laying down some Kamai Surin instrumental beat. What was the Surin? Was that the drum, the sort of drum, or was that the xylophone sounding one? Or maybe it's something completely different. It might be the name of a specific sound or something. You guys let me know in the comments. Interesting though.
ច្បាប់សរិនតែបែបសរិន style ថ្មីសម្រាប់ score 2
Okay, you know what? He said now we're finding new instrument and arrangements. So Surin, I don't think is talking about a specific sound or a specific instrument. I'm assuming now that it's like a genre or a classical sound. You know what I mean? Like a full genre or whatever. I don't know. You guys let me know. That's what I'm picking up at least.
ហើយដែលធ្វើ arrangement ថ្មីជាមួយនឹងឧបករណ៍ខ្មែរយើងដែរ
They got, bro, they got, this must be a huge place if they're using, or I guess they might just not have service or something like that. We're using walkie-talkies is easier and quicker. It's really cool being able to listen to just basically a song without other elements in it, because it's really hard to pull stuff. There is technology to do it in programs and stuff to be able to pull out just vocals or sometimes just a specific instrument, but it's usually kind of grainy. It's not very easily done where you can basically take a stereo mix and pull out specific sounds. So of course they have the raw files because they're making it, but being able to hear it just without the other instruments is kind of cool. It'd be awesome to have like the source files just to sit there and play around with the instruments that they use, the different sounds, and hear how it adds to the total sound of the song, the finished product. ព្រោះខ្ញុំមានឈាមខ្មែរតាមតែឈាមខ្មែរស្អីនេះ fucking society ដូចវាស៊ីដូច buffet ពូជខ្មែរអ្នកខ្លាំងដែលអ្នកចង់ប្រឆាំងដូចអ្នកឯងនេះទៅមិនរួចទេលុយចូលដូចទឹកដៃទីងដូចមឹក every day is my payday វិជ្ជមានជាកលយុទ្ធធម៌ជាស្នូលទីងវា my road the right way ដល់មែនបាទខ្ញុំបថយដល់ What do they got blurred out there? What could that be? A brand maybe? That's a clean outfit. I'm drawn to like simple outfits, all black. You know what I mean? One gold chain or whatever he had. I think it was silver, maybe. Let me go back. Yeah, little gold chains, black watch, black sunglasses. I mean, that's a look. You don't need to get all extra. មានអារម្មណ៍យើងមាន feeling យើងជាមួយនឹង connect មួយ nature ជាមួយធម្មជាតិ Though I also like a lot of color in my outfit, so good food I'm a bit of both. Everything គឺ yeah ខុសប្លែកគ្នាខ្លាំងមែនតើនិយាយទៅអានេះគឺជាបទពិសោធន៍ទី1របស់ខ្ញុំហ្មងដែរមកឆ្ងាយពីផ្ទះហើយធ្វើ music yeah ហើយវា inspire. Did he make the majority of his songs here? Or did he like maybe write everything and just polish it here, as in actually fully finish the, you know, the whatever was left of that song? But was most of the process done like on this resort or wherever he's at? Because if so, that's no, that can't be right, because he worked on this for a pretty long time, right? So it's not like he spent like a year there, I would imagine. I don't know. មានកំណត់ឆ្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មីដោយដែលទាំងអស់គ្នាឃើញហើយគឺវាសង្កត់ថាពេលខ្លះ300 degree ហ្មងដែលថាផ្លាស់ប្ដូរដោយសារតែយើងមានរសជាតិច្រើនមែនទែនយើងមាន vibe តាំងពី Saran yeah Khmer Saran vibe I kind of well yeah synthwave yeah I've definitely heard that now I'm curious though I want to look into Saran. Maybe there's a video that covers like this Saran sound history or whatever, because I'm assuming now that it's more of a genre of sound than it's you know, very specific instrumental or whatever. របៀប synthwave តាំងពី R&B soul តាំងពី old school hip hop ដំបូងគាត់ថាពិបាកមួយថ្ងៃគាត់តែត្រូវតែមកជុំគ្នាអញ្ចឹងតែវាអត់សូវមាន private time ហើយនឹងការងារគឺផ្ទុយគ្នាតែហ្មងគឺខ្ញុំធ្វើការពេលថ្ងៃប៉ុន្តែគាត់ទៅចាប់ផ្ដើមធ្វើម៉ោង 7 ទៅ 8 យប់រហូតដល់ជួនកាលភ្លឺអញ្ចឹងទៅបានគាត់បានសម្រាកវាផ្ទុយគ្នាប៉ុន្តែយើងមកនៅទីនេះជុំគ្នាអញ្ចឹងយើងបានកំណត់ schedule មួយ fix រួមគ្នាអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំ Yeah Sorry,
ឃើញចំណុចហ្នឹង
letting
តែ
me
គាត់
hear the rest of
ព្
what
យា
you're
យាម
saying.
លះបង់ម៉ោងសម្រាប់ខ្លួនឯងហ្នឹងគឺព្យាយាមបាត់បែនតាមយើងប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលដែលយើងទម្លាប់រស់នៅជាមួយនឹងភាពបែបនេះទៅគឺឃើញថាវាល្អសម្រាប់យើងវិញ
I could imagine all of them spending time in this place together, right, for the sole purpose of working on the album. It leads to much more productive time, right, because they're all there focused on that one goal. And so, and without all the distractions and everything going on, I'm sure they spent the majority of that time actually working on it, as opposed to sometimes you go to a buddy's house with the intent to work on something. Like back when I used to mess around with beats and music, I'd go over to my buddy's house, right, and we'd be like, all right, we're going to work on this track. And then we'd end up just not doing that, like, because we had so many distractions, right? Sometimes we would, a lot of the times we'd get distracted and do something else. So I imagine this is actually a pretty good approach to staying on point and staying on topic and just being able to do everything with, especially with that many people, like you said, right? Trying to line everybody's schedules up can be a headache. So. Oh, my man's a real musician. He knows the notes real quick. I used to be like that with the trumpet. You know, I'd be like listening. I'm like, oh, that's an E sharp or whatever. But it's been a while for me, so I can't. I don't know. Maybe I could practice that skill set again and be able to like listen for specific notes, but I don't have that skill as of right now. Not anymore. Okay. I love that sound, the xylophone. All right. I just want to take a quick second and let you guys know, for anyone who hasn't seen, I have a Patreon that just got started that can be found in the description. You can support the channel for as low as $1 a month, US dollar, or more if you can, or not. You can keep watching the videos and that'll be 100% fine. But just letting everyone know that that is out there now. So anyway, let's keep going. Oh, I accidentally muted it. My bad. There we go.
ទម្រង់បត់ចង្វាក់ទាំងរសជាតិអីផ្សេងគ្នាទាំងអស់អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំគិតថាសម្រាប់ audience បើគាត់ទទួលបាននឹងអាល់ប៊ុមក្រោយរបស់វណ្ណដានេះអារម្មណ៍របស់គាត់គឺចាប់ផ្ដើមរៀងច្បងច្បល់ខ្លះប៉ុន្តែគាត់ទទួលបានរសជាតិច្រើនដោយសារបត់ដែលធ្វើនៅក្នុងអាល់ប៊ុម School 2ក្រោយនេះខ្ញុំសង្កេតឃើញខ្លាំងគឺ lyric ព្រោះ
I could see that, though. I do want to kind of say that there was a general theme to the album in my eyes. Like, there were standout songs that were old school hip hop, like you said, or just kind of deviated a little bit from the overall sound of the album. But for the most part, it had a pretty consistent sound. You know, like he said, there's a lot of varying flavors of sound, right, in each beat that they created. But I think they all sort of had the same thematic approach to the songs. And I will be coming out with a video that was just like that one I just made, ranking of Skull One songs in the album. I'm going to do that for the Skull 2 Season 1. Because I found by the end of me ranking and sort of analyzing each song, by the end of that list, if you watch that video, I think you can tell, I was able to kind of break down a lot more of how I thought about each song. And it gave me a better overall look at the entire album. So I think doing that same process for this Skull 2 Season 1 will let me sort of be able to pick out what I'm talking about when I say same thematic approach. I think I'll be able to break it down into better words. So
ដូចបងប្អូនបានដឹងហើយរាល់បទរបស់គាត់ទាំងអស់សម្រាប់ lyric គឺ perfect ហ្មងប្លែកថ្មីទាំងអស់អត់មានថា lyric ណាដែលជន់ហើយន័យយល់បើយើងសម្រាប់យើងអ្នកស្ដាប់តាមក៏អត់តន់យើងតាមក៏អត់តន់ហ្មង
It's completely random, but I'm just really curious how not arid, what humid. How humid is it in Cambodia? Like, is it super humid, like a muggy feeling? Because where I live currently, it's pretty muggy. It's pretty humid. But I have lived in more arid areas. I've been to like parts of the U.S. Parts of the U.S. that have been super arid. Parts of like Arizona, they get really hot and it's just dry heat. And I've been to real humid, colder places as well, so I've kind of gotten a feel for the extremities on both sides. But I'm curious, like what's sort of the climate in Cambodia?
ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងសិន master ហើយយើងចូល track ថ្មីនេះ
ចូលធ្វើអានេះឲ្យ fulfill
ស្មុកសាសាហ្នឹង
គឺអាបត់ស៊ូពីសាសាបានតែចូលវាស្ដាប់មកវា sexy ហ្នឹងវាពេលយើងសម័យរូបភាពហ្នឹងវារបៀបយើងបែក7ពេកប្លើចេញ color ក្រហមខៀវស្វាយលឿងទុំ master ហើយចាំទៅស្ដាប់ឲ្យឯងទៅគូហ្គីតាហើយ
He said, "Seen all these colors." I actually paused for that interesting note that he threw in there. He said, "I added guitar to the song actually," and then the other guy was like, "Damn," which means that he was playing around with the songs up to the very end, adding. Because I would imagine adding a guitar. Guitar is one of the more prominent, like in your face instruments, as opposed to maybe you can throw in a little bit of a xylophone sound there and not overtake the rest of the sounds. But when you add a guitar, it sort of sits at the foreground of like what you're listening, unless it's like really, really buried. So for him to be adding guitar, I think this late in the game means that he's kind of changing the feel of that song completely. So that's interesting. He wasn't just doing minor tweaks toward the end. He was just like experimenting completely. It sounds like.
Feel fingerstyle shit
ពេលវ៉ាន់ដែលឃ្លៀង this bit ពេលចាស់សាស្ត្រ great with the money up in this bitch One of the guys sitting in front of the computer is like one of his editors or something like that, because this is the music video. He's sort of controlling the computer and they're reviewing it. So I wonder if he's one of the guys that worked on it. Maybe he did it himself completely. Maybe he's the videographer.
Oh my god
I wonder what part they were laughing at. Have I seen that video? I think I have.
Losing control with the sun and whiskey ចាំមិនសូវច្បាស់គ្នានឹងណាលួចខាត់ចាំមិនសូវច្បាស់ទៅនឹងណាមកតាមយោការងារវ៉ាន់ដាជួបឧបសគ្គច្រើនព្រោះថាឥឡូវយើងចង់អភិវឌ្ឍចម្រៀងរបស់យើងពីមុនអាល់ប៊ុមទី1យើងមានគ្នាតែ3នាក់ជាគោលប៉ុន្តែសម្រាប់អាល់ប៊ុមនេះគឺយើងមានចូលរួមច្រើនមែន
What were the three main people in the first song? Because there was like, he featured Kamang Kamai. I think that's how you say their name. He featured them, right? That's a duo group. He, I think, had Sophia Cow singing on it. He may not have, but I feel like it wasn't in the featured, but I feel like her voice was in there. He had a game, right? Or Dash Game, I think. I forget which one's the newer name. He had him on there. Of course, Vondi, right, was on there as well. Maybe that was it. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I think there are more people on this, but I think maybe he's also talking about the team that worked on the album as a whole, like in the background.
មែនតើស្គាល់ថាក្រុមការងារគុណនឹង3របស់ស្គាល់មួយអញ្ចឹងវាកាន់តែពិបាកទៀតព្រោះត្រូវធ្វើហ្នឹងគឺវាត្រូវជួប
It's harder to manage, I imagine.
ហើយការងាររបស់គាត់គឺគាត់នៅតែប្រឹងដូចមុនអញ្ចឹងទោះពីមុនមានអ្នកចូលរួមតិចហើយឥឡូវមានអ្នកចូលរួមច្រើនគឺគាត់ប្រឹងជាងមុនតោះយើងមួយទៀតអី
And we still got the whole season 2 part of the album that we don't even know anything about. I don't think there may have been some information that was released since I last sort of checked in. You know, I've taken a little bit of a break, like I said, this month, but I don't think there's any major news, right, as far as like how big it's going to be or why it was broken up this way, why they're called season 1 and 2. Is there like some meaning behind that specifically? I don't know.
tao đừng ngồi kia đó
Hạt lư.
ở con lưới anh mua signal nó signal tiết.
I see they use Macs. A lot of musicians use Macs, I think, because of well, I don't know. I guess because of the programs, Logic Pro and all those, is probably why a lot of them use Mac, because they don't do it for computing power. Like, Windows is gonna blow Mac out of the water, except in certain scenarios where like the programming, you know what I mean, like on the programs that are written for Mac are usually super in touch with the actual motherboard components and that sort of thing, because it's written to spec. So a lot of times they can utilize those components better than a Windows with higher components or higher, RAM or whatever else that's not using it as efficiently. I don't know, or maybe it's a culture thing. Musicians in general like Mac just because it's the look. I like Macs as well, but my PC is much stronger.
All my nearly some with it. Losing control with this random whiskey. Tell me say chman to the na look happy. Tell me say chman to the na mod gun me yo. Lôi khăn nè. Lôi khăn nè. Sắm mới được mà. សម្រាប់ខ្ញុំជឿថា album របស់ Vanda ហ្នឹងចេញទៅទស្សនិកជនគាត់កាន់តែ surprise ហើយគាត់នឹងបានទទួលយករសជាតិថ្មីបន្ថែមទៀតយើងរំពឹងថាវានឹងជោគជ័យជាង album ទី1 ដើម្បីឲ្យបរទេសអន្តរជាតិគេទទួលស្គាល់
Got more recognition from some international. I'm sure it has in general. I'm actually curious to see some numbers on whether it's performing a little worse, just as good, or a lot better than the last album when it first came out. I wonder if there's numbers on that, or like metrics.
ហើយក៏ជាហេតុផលដែរធ្វើឲ្យយើងខំប្រឹងវាយើងចង់អភិវឌ្ឍតន្ត្រីប្រទេសយើងចង់មានឈ្មោះឈរលើឆាកអន្តរជាតិដែរនៅថ្ងៃអនាគត
I always enjoy the documentary episodes, just to see. I just really like looking behind the scenes for any artist, and then specifically, I've spent so much time listening to Vanda and analyzing him and learning from you guys that it's more interesting. I think it's more engaging to me to be able to see behind the scenes, because it's something that I'm sort of diving into every day, or a lot of days, But in general, I just like being able to look at artists' sort of process and what goes on behind the scenes that we don't always see just from listening to the product, you know what I mean? So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, I'm going to be working on a video that mirrors the one I just did about ranking the Skull 1 songs. I'm going to be doing that for Skull 2 Season 1. And I got some other bigger ideas that I'm also going to be working on. These are videos that are going to take a little bit, because believe it or not, editing that last one took a little bit. But I want to do more of those videos, and hopefully my editing and my flow and everything will get better as I go. I still want to do reactions here and there, probably not as prominently as I have in the past, with minimal editing, because I feel like, and that's the main reason that I'm working on these bigger projects, these bigger videos, is I want to practice my editing and my writing and all of that stuff. But those are skills that I can't use when it comes to doing reactions, because then it's not, then it's disingenuous. It's not real if I'm writing down what I'm going to say, right? So for reactions, I can't really do much other than get in front of the camera, talk to you guys, do my research sometimes, and just watch the video and say what I'm thinking. But these bigger projects, right, I want to do a lot of writing. I want to do some editing, and hopefully I'll start getting out some cooler videos for you guys as well alongside these. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend as well, and I will catch you guys on the next one.